calling close finishes is really good here. If it's the horses are right next to each other, you can almost always tell who won, unless it's one of those finishes where a horse is just flying and then it gets difficult. But I find that it's much easier to call photo finishes here than Belmont Park, which is way higher up and you're looking almost down at them. So it's a weird angle. Here it's what you see is what you get. But you also get this thing right afterwards. So this is a 1.1 miles on the main track, so they're starting right here. So you immediately have this right in the way, and you have all the steel beams. So you just have to like dance kind of back and forth. It's actually tougher when it's on the turf because that beam right here goes right through the melon turf course inside, and it's just hard to. You have to sort of like go back and forth. So you got that. You got all the 17 trees I mentioned, and as they go around the turn. The outer rail of this race being on the main track, the outer rail of the turf course goes right through the jockey silks, so which is how I identify the horses. So you've got all those things that are wrong about this booth, and I tell people that one thing that's right about it is it's in Saratoga, and you just deal with it and you don't care because it's fun. You know, it's just great to be here every day. But you've got this dining room right out here, and I have this door open so that I could get the sound from the crowd. I love to hear the crowd sound. It just kind of gives you the feeling of, you know, that you're in with the crowd, and it's a fun experience because at Belmont you're up there all by yourself and you don't see or hear anybody, so it's really difficult to you know get a feel for the excitement of the moment. Now what I do to prepare for each race is I have this iPad, which I started doing last year, and at the beginning of the day I will draw the silks as close as I can do it. I mean, they don't have to be perfect because it's just for me, and I just kind of gives me an idea of what they're going to look like when they come out there on the track, and I'll study them over and over until I feel like I know who they are. This obviously didn't take too long. There's 5 of them, and when they're familiar silks, it's a lot easier.
Right.
Here we have familiar silks. My personal favorite's the Phipps colors with Domain, the cherry red cap with the black silks, Stronach stables with Point to Remember, St. Elias stable and Shadwell stable. We don't see this Rigney racing that much, but they've been running here quite a bit at this meet. So for some reason or another, the way your brain works, if you see stables that you're more familiar with, chances are those names will come to your head a little bit faster. So those are that's a big help. Now if it's like a field of horses that you're unfamiliar with silks you're unfamiliar with, there's more studying time and it can be a little more challenging. This one should be okay, but you have to be careful sometimes with 5-horse fields that you can't mail it in. Because things seem to happen when that happens, right? You still have to be prepared. So I think I am. We'll find out. We'll find out in about a minute. Hang on 1 second. Sure. The horses are now approaching the starting gate. So I also use these guys to call the races. These are Canon 15x50 image stabilizers. They are really good. They bring the action close to me, and they also, because they're 15 power, they can be shaky. But they have this image stabilizer. They run on 2 AA batteries, and you just hit this button, green light comes on, and the shake goes away. So it certainly helps when you're calling the Kentucky Derby and your knees are buckling and you've got 20 horses running around the track in front of 150,000 people and 20 million watching on TV. You know, whatever helps steady your hands is much appreciated. So here we go. The horses have reached the starting gate. It's post time and they're moving into line. La Bec is the first one to load, followed by Big Muddy and the Fireball Shot. The last 2 to load are Point to Remember and Domain. Mile and an eighth is kind of cool because they're right here. Literally in your face at the start. I really like that. Domain coming up to the outside stall here. Steps forward and in. They're all in line. They're off. Big Money was a step slow to start. Point to Remember had the best beginning. Lebec is sent along. On the far outside, it's Domain. And right up there, 2 Fireball shots. So there's 4 in a line. And in behind them, a bit of a slow start for Big Money. Puts him at the rear of the field. And now he goes past Domain into that turn, racing 4 lengths off the lead. Up front, it's Lebec. A bit hard to control here. Head going up and down. The leader by a neck. Fireball shot on the outside, running in second through an opening quarter mile at 24.55 seconds. Point to Remember. Perched outside the top 2, running along in third. Big Money fourth on the inside, and Domain, last of this quintet, races 4 lengths from front running Lebec. Lebec and Dylan Davis take them up the backstretch in front. Get a bit of daylight here. They're a length on top now. A Fireball shot running in second. Point to Remember is third on the outside of them. Big Money fourth and riding the rail up the backstretch. 3 lengths off the lead and just ahead of Domain at the rear of the field. 49.19 was the half. With a half mile to go, Lebec is still the leader. In the clear, a length and a half to Fireball shot. Point to Remember on the outside, and Big Money has the rail and will save ground into the turn. Domain still last. Lebec still first. Been there just about all the way, and with 3 furlongs to go, it's a length lead. 3/4 and 1:13.2. Here's Point to Remember getting going, and Domain too, and these 2 come charging up alongside of Lebec. Big Money's under a drive behind them, and then it's Fireball shot, and they're into the stretch. Point to Remember has taken the lead. Domain on the outside is next. Big Money now trying to get involved through on the inside as Lebec is given way. Fireball shots down the center. Point to Remember and Junior Alvarado in front as they come by the 16th pole. And then it's Big Money, Fireball shot in Domain. It's Point to Remember to win it by 3. Fireball shot was second. Big Money was third and Domain was fourth. There you go.
Wow.
And you can ask me in a